Want to build your very first SwiftUI app? In this tutorial, we'll use Google Books API with MVVM and Async Await to create a real iOS app, step by step, perfect for beginners. So this is the app we'll create. It enables the user to search the books on Google Books API. So if I type in, for example, Swift, if I type in SwiftUI, it will retrieve all the books that contain SwiftUI with the thumbnail. And then if I click on one of the books, it will display the book image in full and the name of the book and the author's details. So this is the app that we'll be creating using MVVM, Async Await and Google Books API. Don't forget to subscribe for more Swift and SwiftUI tutorials. Today we'll focus on the book view model. This view model is the middle layer between the UI and the view and the data services. It handles the app logic, fetching books, storing them, and updating the UI when things change. So this is one of the view models we'll be creating. So the first thing we need to do is to create a new Swift file. Name the file book view model. And then add the following. Import SwiftUI at main actor, which will ensure all updates in the class happen on the main thread. At observable, and then we create our actual view model, which is called book view model. The view model has a title called book title. And the book title is what the user types into the search bar. An array of books that will be returned or retrieved from Google Books API. We need a state variable called isLoading. That will also show a loading spinner whilst performing a search. We also need to create an asynchronous method called search books. And this method will search the books on the Google's API. Guard, not book title. So if the book title is an empty, then we will perform the rest of the commands in this function. IsLoading equals true. Show the loading spinner or activity. And now we call the actual service let fetch books. Try await books API shared.fetch book info. We need the overloaded method, the first one with the title, and then we just pass our book title. So what that line does, it will call the API service and fetch the books that matches the search term, which is the book title. For example, when the user enters their search term, such as SwiftUI, it will return all the SwiftUI books on the view. Books equals fetch books. And then we attempt to capture any errors that may happen within the catch block. Then we just print the error to the screen. Really, this should be thrown to the view so that the user can see what's happening. Error.localize description. This is just for testing purposes anyway. Books. So we clear the books array because an error happened. And then since we have come to the end of the function, is loading is equal to false. I'll just compile it now. So what else do we need to do? The next file that we need to create is the book details view. And the purpose of this view is to show the detailed information about the selected book that the user clicks on within the list. So what we should do now, we should create a new folder by holding down the control key, right clicking on the mouse, click on new group. Name this folder views. Let's move the content file into that folder as well. And then create a new SwiftUI file. a SwiftUI view. Click on next. Name the file book detail view. Click on create. And then we just enter the following. So how this will work. Yeah, so if the user clicked on the second book, SwiftUI Essentials iOS edition, then they will be navigated to the detailed view, which is this view here, and it will display the picture or the thumbnail of the book with the book title and the author. So that's what we're creating for the book details view. Let book info. So this is the actual book that was passed in from the list that the user selected. And make it a little bit neater. We also need a scroll view. And the purpose of the scroll view is to allow the content to scroll if the content is too long for the screen. We also need a VStack, spacing 20. If let URL equals to URL, string book dot thumbnail and not book dot thumbnail is empty. So if the thumbnail contains a valid URL, then using a sync image, we will attempt to load the URL, the image, so the image can be displayed. Then that should be image dot resizable dot scale to fit. And then we also need to create a frame for the image, which will have a max width, 200, max height, 300, and that will limit the size of the thumbnail or the cover, whatever you want to call it. Corner radius is 12 for rounded corners, and shadow 5, which will add a soft shadow behind the image. And then you need a placeholder. The purpose of the placeholder is to show a progress view. And then we also need an else statement on line 30. The purpose of this, if there's no cover image available, then we need to fall back to show a dummy or a temporary image, similar to a placeholder, which will be called book closed dot font system size 80 dot foreground color dot secondary. Now, if we have all the data, then we will attempt to display our book in this VStack. So the information to be displayed is the book title, and the font type will be title 2. Font weight will be bold. We also want to display, I don't know what happened there. We also want, just delete the preview because we're not using it. My Mac is a bit slow. We also want to display the author. I'll just copy what we just done to display the author's name. So that'll be that should be author or authors, because there could be more than one. Authors, book.authors dot joined separator if there's more than one author, it will join it within a separator, such as it would be something like this. So author name 1 and then author name 2, and that will be displayed in the text element. The font should be sub-headline, and the foreground color should be secondary. And then we need to add a bit of padding, background, which is rounded rectangle, corner radius of 12. And the reason of having a rounded rectangle is to make sure that the actual background looks more like a card. So to do this, we also have to fill the card with a system color, fill color, system grade 6, and we add some more padding. That will add padding around the entire VStack. And then what we need to do next is to add a navigation title. It's called details, and we add a navigation bar title display mode for inline, which will keep the title small. And then let's see what's happened there. So don't know what's wrong there. Image, that should just be image dot resizable. Doesn't like feel, must be missing something. Now that's what the problem is. On line 47, there should just be one closing bracket. After the 12, should just be one closing bracket. And so that looks right. Dot fill, open bracket, color, open bracket. Oh, we should have another closing bracket on line 48. Yeah, I'll just compile it. We will now start to implement some of our content view. So the content view will enable the user to enter the actual search criteria so that they can search for their books. And it will include these elements and a magnifier, and also it will include a list, as you can see here. So that's what we will start to implement right now. We'll start to implement some of it anyway, and then the rest next week. So just import observation. Do we need observation? No, we don't need observation. We need app main actor, at state, private var view model equals book view model. Really, here we should be using like dependency injection, really, and also maybe like protocol orientated programming as well. But because this is a like beginner's tutorial, I just do it this way. So we create our new instance of the book view model, and then we need to have our navigation stack, and the purpose of the navigation stack is to enable the user to navigate from one view to the next view, such as when the user is on this view, the content view, if they click on any of these books, then they will be navigated to the detailed view. And that's the purpose of the navigation stack. So within the navigation stack, we need a V stack, and then we need a H stack, we will have a text field. The purpose of the text field is to enable the user to enter the search criteria, as in the book that they're looking for. And then that search term will be stored within our view model book title that we created earlier. Just include a bit of styling, padding, which is 10. Background, which is similar to what we've done earlier. Rounded, rectangle, with a corner radius of 10. The corner radius should be 8. And also fill color, system grey 6. And the benefits of using the system colors is that they automatically adapt to light and dark mode. So you create a better UI, UX within your application. And we just add some padding, leading. So what we've done so far is we've done this part, the text field, and what else have we done? Yeah, that's it at the moment. So next week we'll continue with the content view to implement the other features and UI elements. Don't forget to subscribe for more Swift and SwiftUI tutorials.